Hi everyone, it's Sarah. Tonight I want to talk about something that took me an embarrassingly long time to learn. Something that sounds so simple, just one small word, but that I genuinely struggled with for years. The word is no. Two letters, one syllable, and yet for a very long time I could not say it, not comfortably, not without immediately feeling guilty, anxious, and convinced that I had done something wrong by saying it. I was a yes person, and I do not mean that in the positive, enthusiastic, open to life way. I mean it in the exhausted, overwhelmed, people pleasing way. People pleasing means prioritizing other people's comfort and approval above your own needs and well being. Saying yes to keep the peace, to avoid disappointing anyone, to be liked and seen as helpful and easy and good. I said yes to things I did not want to do. I said yes to plans I was too tired for. I said yes to requests that took my time, my energy, and my peace. And I smiled while I said it, and then went home and felt resentful and depleted. Tonight, I want to tell you how that changed, how I learned, slowly, imperfectly, but genuinely, to say no, and why learning to say no was one of the most loving things I have ever done, not just for myself, for everyone around me, too. It started with a Tuesday evening very much like this one. About 2 years ago, I had just gotten home from work, a long, tiring day. I was looking forward to a quiet evening, a bath, an early night, nothing, just rest. My phone buzzed. A message from a colleague asking if I could help her prepare a presentation for the following morning. It would only take a couple of hours, she said. She was really stuck and did not know who else to ask. I sat on my couch and I looked at that message for a long time. Every part of me was tired. Every part of me wanted to say, I am so sorry, I really cannot tonight. I hope you find someone who can. That was the honest answer. That was the true answer. But instead, I typed, of course, give me 20 minutes and I will call you. I spent the next 3 hours helping her with her presentation. I went to bed at midnight. I was exhausted the next day. And the colleague, she thanked me briefly, sent the presentation, and never mentioned it again. I lay in bed that night feeling something I could not quite name at the time. Not anger, not exactly. Something quieter and sadder than anger. A kind of weariness, deep tiredness, not just in my body, but somewhere underneath it. And I thought, why did I do that? Why did I say yes when every honest part of me was saying no? The answer, when I finally looked at it clearly, was not comfortable. I said yes because I was afraid. Afraid that if I said no, she would think I was selfish. Afraid that she would be disappointed in me. Afraid that I would be seen as unhelpful, unkind, not a good person. Afraid that my value to the people around me depended on my constant availability and willingness to give. That fear had been running my life for years, and I hadn't even fully seen it until that Tuesday night, lying in bed at midnight, exhausted by something I had chosen to do when I didn't have to. That was the beginning. I started paying attention after that, really paying attention, to the moments when I said yes and what was underneath them. And what I found was a pattern, a consistent, exhausting pattern. I said yes to social plans I didn't have the energy for because I was afraid of being seen as antisocial or boring. I said yes to extra work because I was afraid of seeming uncommitted or difficult. I said yes to conversations I didn't have the capacity for because I was afraid of seeming cold or unavailable. I said yes to opinions I didn't agree with because I was afraid of conflict. Every yes had a fear underneath it, every single one. And every fear was some version of the same thing. If I say no, people will think less of me. If I say no, I will lose something. If I say no, I'm not good enough. Seeing that pattern clearly was uncomfortable, but it was also, strangely, a relief, because once you can see a pattern, you can begin to change it. I started small, very small. The first no I said deliberately and consciously was to a friend who asked me to help her move apartments on a Saturday when I'd already made plans for myself. Quiet plans, nothing important to anyone else, just a day I had promised myself. Rest, a walk, a book. I typed and deleted my response about 6 times. Every version started with yes, but, or I wish I could, but, or I'm so sorry, I would love to help, but. And then I stopped. I took a breath and I wrote, I'm not able to help that Saturday. I already have plans. I hope the move goes smoothly and let me know if you need anything the week after. I sent it before I could change my mind, and then I put my phone down and sat very still and waited for the guilt to arrive. It arrived. Of course it did. A familiar wave of, should I have said yes? Was that selfish? Will she be upset with me? But here's what I noticed. Underneath the guilt, something else, something quieter and more solid, a small, steady feeling of, I told the truth. I honored what I actually needed, and the world did not end. My friend replied within a few minutes. She said, no problem at all, totally understand. And that was it. No drama, no disappointment, no loss of friendship. All that anxiety for nothing.
Of course, it was not always that easy. Not every no landed without any friction. Friction means resistance or difficulty, things not going smoothly. Some people were surprised when I started saying no. A few were briefly disappointed. One or two pushed back. Pushed back means responded with resistance, tried to change my answer. And those moments were harder. Those moments required me to hold my ground. Hold my ground means to maintain your position even when someone is pressuring you to change it. I learned something important in those moments. Saying no once is the first step, but sometimes you have to say it twice, or more calmly repeat it when someone pushes back. And that, the ability to stay calm and clear even when someone is disappointed in your answer, that was the real skill I had to build. I also learned that a no does not need a long explanation. This was a revelation. A revelation means a surprising and important realization, something that changes how you see things. I used to over-explain every no. I would give detailed reasons, extensive apologies, multiple alternatives, as if I needed to prove that my no was valid and justified, as if the no alone was not enough and I owed the other person a full legal argument for why I could not do the thing they asked. I do not do that anymore. A simple, warm no is complete in itself. I am unable to do that. Thank you for thinking of me. That is enough. A genuine reason can be shared if you want to share it, but it is not required. Your no does not need defending. This was one of the most freeing things I learned. The no is enough. I also had to learn the difference between a loving no and an avoidant no. This distinction matters. An avoidant no is when you say no to protect yourself from discomfort, when you use no as a wall to keep everything and everyone at a safe distance. That is not what I am talking about. That is not healthy either. A loving no is something different. A loving no is when you say no to something that would genuinely cost you more than you have to give right now. And in doing so, you protect the quality of everything else you show up for. You protect your relationships. You protect your work. You protect your presence. Because here's the truth that took me a long time to understand. When you say yes to everything, your yes means nothing. If you are always available, always willing, always giving, the giving becomes automatic and empty. It loses its meaning. People stop experiencing it as a genuine gift and start experiencing it as something they can simply rely on taking. But when your yes is chosen, when it comes from a place of genuine willingness and real capacity, it means everything. A chosen yes is a full yes. A yes that costs you nothing real is a generous gift. A yes that costs you your rest,
your peace, your sanity, that is not generosity. That is depletion. I want to give from fullness, not from empty. And to give from fullness, I have to protect what fills me. And sometimes protecting what fills me means saying no to things that would drain it. That is not selfishness. That is stewardship, taking care of something precious so it can keep giving. 2 years later, I am not perfect at this. I want to be honest about that. There are still moments when the old fear rises and I say yes when no was the truer answer. There are still moments when I over-explain or apologize more than necessary. But those moments are fewer, and I recognize them more quickly now. And I am gentler with myself when they happen, because I know that learning to say no is not a destination you arrive at. It's a practice you return to, again and again, with increasing honesty and decreasing fear. What I can say with certainty is this: my life is better for it. Genuinely, measurably better. My time feels more like my own. My energy goes to things and people that truly matter to me. My relationships are more honest, because when I say yes to someone now, they know I mean it, and when I cannot, I say so with warmth and without guilt. I feel less resentful, less depleted, more present in the things I choose to show up for. And perhaps most surprisingly, the people who matter most in my life have not loved me less for saying no. If anything, they respect me more, because they know that when I say yes, I really mean it. The right people in your life will respect your no. They will not punish you for having limits. They will not love you less for being honest about your capacity. And if someone does punish you for saying no, that tells you something important about that relationship worth paying attention to. Your no is allowed. Your no is valid. Your no is, sometimes, the kindest and most honest thing you can offer. Say it gently, say it clearly, and say it without apology. Thank you so much for listening tonight. This is something I feel genuinely passionate about because I spent so many years not knowing it, and I wish someone had told me sooner. You are allowed to say no to plans that exhaust you, to requests that cost more than you have, to things that don't align with who you are and what you truly value. You are allowed. And if you are someone who struggles with this, someone who says yes when no is the honest answer, I just want you to know you are not alone. And it gets easier, one honest no at a time. If today's story resonated with you and you want to keep learning natural, real English with stories that go a little deeper, please subscribe to Free Daily English right here on YouTube. New stories every week, completely free, made just for you. Just hit that subscribe button below. Thank you. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next story. Bye-bye.